call that radio. You call that radio TV. No. You call that radio TV.
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio. Absolutely buzzing for this one tonight. We've got Mal on the show to talk about classic grand gig coming up. It's Scotland, the Rave tonight as well, which is going to be on BBC. We're going to be talking about that. And the days of Ultrasonic, public domain. Can't wait for it, man. Absolutely buzzing. We'll go live to him in just a second. Just before I do that, I just want to give a wee shout out that I spoke to Rowetta for the Happy Mondays. It was supposed to come out on Thursday, but it's actually out now. It's on Apple, Spotify and all that, so if you want to check that out, it's just an audio-only podcast, that one. It was great chatting to her. You can check Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcast from normally after this show's over. Tomorrow night, we're going live to Reading Festival, where Kenny Mulligan's doing I think he's helping build the stages or whatever, so we'll find out what Kenny's up to, live on location. And yeah, it's Call That Radio. We've got an absolute legend in the house. All right, mate, can you hear me?
How you doing, Mark? You all right?
I'm very well, man. I'm very well. Do you know what I actually feel like semi-normal? Like it felt like the first weekend that was actually like a real weekend. I went to a gig and everything on Friday, so it's and got to a festival this week, man. So it's quite a weird feeling after about a year and a half of no getting out much.
Aye, we're getting back to normal, fucking thankfully. Oh, can I swear in this?
You certainly can, mate.
Because I'm terrible for my language, but that's all right.
That's all right. No, you're absolutely fine here, mate. You're
and
fine
my
here.
Hitler moustache as well. Are you allowed a Hitler moustache on the show?
I don't know what the YouTube terms and conditions are. Just call it. I think maybe you're better off calling it a Charlie Chaplin moustache, probably, or something like.
Aye, Charlie Chaplin. I use this to clean all my gear in the studio because all the dust off it and that. It's always.
I thought you meant the gear. I thought you meant the gear.
Aye, all the fucking Colombian, just sorry, all the gaff, man, that and the dust. You know, I hoover up the gear and I dust off. Nah, I'm only kidding, man. Yeah.
Well, it's a big day for you, man. It seems a busy week. It just seems like, because you've got tonight Scotland, the Rave with Graham Armstrong is on the telly, and then you're playing the classic grand on is it Friday, Saturday?
Saturday, aye, 1994.
1994. Is this the first gig back for you then?
Aye, so just like you were saying earlier, it's just brilliant to be busy and be back and about it all. And 1994 is the first actual sort of proper DJ gig I've done since the full lockdown stuff. I've got a podcast I do with my mate called The Hashtag Show, and we've done a few live recordings. But obviously that's us just sitting, shooting the breeze in front of a live audience, so it's no really like in-your-face mad gig. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's an old school thing I do called 1994, and it really is fucking magical, man. It's going to be emotional.
Well, that's it. It was already a magical night, and now you've got the fact that when was the last when you played in real life, like a real life gig?
Real life, I know, it's mad, isn't it? Like before the war. The last one was bizarrely New Year's Eve 2019, so we brought in 2020.
Yeah.
And then fucking, as you know, March, the world turned to shit. And, you know, the music industry, the arts, was the first to close and the last to open. So fucking to get back out and do it, I can't put into words. I'm not really a clever kind of person, but I can't put into words how important it is for us all just to celebrate, you know, dance music together with people in a big room. You know, that's if we were fucking 8 men banging drums around a fire. You know, it's primal. It's in us. It's something that we need to do. And I'm going to be doing it this Saturday. So I'm really chuffed.
And what I've got behind me, that's when's this one?
Aye, so, I mean, it's just all guns blazing, and that's another night I'm doing. It's called Open to Close, where I play, you guessed it, Open to Close. It's a concept that I wanted to start before COVID, and obviously that's put a halt to it. So this is the date I've got. And the concept is I'm just going to invite other DJs who have got a kind of history and who I feel have got a story to tell and can do a DJ set for 5 years. Because I don't think a lot of people, realise the art of playing a night start to finish. Because a lot of people are just like, all right, I'm playing for an hour and they'll play their 10 big tunes. But I think it's a skill to, take an audience for the doors open to the doors close, you know what I mean? And still build the night. I look at everything like a record, it's got to have a start, middle and end.
And it's like, I think the only person I've seen play like that long, apart from like at a house party or something.
That's different. We're all brought in the house, aren't we?
Is you can't get somebody after tunes.
Aye.
Somebody's on it. But I've seen Mr. Scruff at Beat Herder. I think he did a 7-hour set or something. And it was like, I wasn't there for the full 7 hours because there was a few bands I watched in between. But yeah, man, it was you're watching somebody who knows what he's doing there.
Well, that's it.
Take all the people on a journey.
Aye, I mean, there's only so much time in a night, and I get it when there's a big lineup and stuff like that. But a lot of DJs only get a chance to play for 60 minutes. So the theme for Open to Close is just to invite DJs up and let them flex and play what they want to play for 5 years. Productions, remixes, favourite tracks, genres that they've played in. That's like nearly 3 decades. Well, is there 3 decades that I've been DJing, writing, producing music, playing music? So I'm looking forward to it. Some guy actually said, freaked me out, no pressure. It just went, you literally are playing the set of your life. And I was just like, fucking hell, that's kind of like, you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. But I mean, I've done it before. I've done it a couple of times. I used to have a residency in London where I was playing like 10 hours plus each night, Friday and a Saturday, once a month, because it was just madness. But anyway, it's going to be brilliant, man. Just to be out, see folk, have a drink, hear screams, and there's no screams like people enjoying themselves and all that.
Absolutely, man. I got freaked out last night. Somebody shared a meme saying that 1981 is the same distance as it was from 1939.
You get the memes that make you think, don't you?
Aye, and I was like, that can't be right. I thought it was a joke meme, but it wasn't. I don't think, did I get that right? 39. So the difference between 81 to 2021 is the same as 1939 to 1980 or something. Something like that. You can do the maths, but aye. It makes
the brainy folk will be laughing at that one, won't they? Oh, that's
right. I had to get the calculator out, you know what I mean? But we've got who's tuned in? We've got Lou Rogerson tuned in. All right, folks. We've got the Wanderer at Fun at the Top in the house. Kirsten Jack's here. Mark McInnes is here. Ross says he's got his Open to Close tickets bought.
Brilliant.
Greg says 5 hours. That's a lot of pills. Ross saying took on a journey. Kirsten Jack, that was his last Friday. It was a good night last Friday. We're at the East Box, and it was Jodie Ark and Becky Wallace, Dr. Normal. So it was kind of like a sort of semi-acoustic, sort of stripped back set, and then a wee DJ set at the end. And Joe Jive was just playing the classic party tunes, and that's the first time I'd seen any kind of dancing. So it was brilliant, man. It was really good. And I've been suffering a wee bit since, but it was well worth it. And
brilliant.
Yeah, hopefully.
You would think, but with the amount of drinking we've all been doing in the house, we're in good training to go out and get fucking right on it. But
you would think that, man. I think it's the socialising aspect of talking to people again. It does take up.
Oh, aye, talking to folk gives you a hangover, doesn't it? That's what you been up to last night? Fucking hell, man! 4 hours talking straight to cunts, didn't even know who they were. Mad with it.
Depends how much you talk, I suppose. It can be it. Using up your energy.
That's
but yeah, we've got Shambhala Festival this weekend, so that's sadly why I can't make the classic Grand, man. But who else is on the bill for 1994 then?
Well, 1994, the concept is, it's all started with, I asked the people who inspired me when I was, coming through the rave scene, for the clubs that were most important to me in Scotland, and that was Trevor Riley from his Hangar 13 days, Joe Deacon from his Metro days, and occasionally I'll bring in Bass Generator for Resurrection, and they guys really helped kind of shape rave music and dance music culture, and certainly inspired me growing up. So they're kind of like the residents, and I've also got my friend Malcolm X, and then we'll invite, guests. I talk a lot of artists out of retirement to come along and play, and many of which have went on to it's reignited their love of dance music in their career. So, I mean, it's just playing old school music for that era. It's not just 1994, it's music for like the late 80s right up to like mid to late 90s. Because it's just such an amazing time. In 1994, I called it that because that was my favourite year in rave. And I think, you could look at it like it's just like a fucking 60s night or a 70s night. When you used to walk up a tune, you'd see the Tacky Nights. But it's like anything. If you dig deeper and you know your tunes and you know your people, it's much more than that. You know what I mean? I don't know, music sends us places and makes us hangs what we've done, and maybe good memories is what it's all about, and lean all the bad in the past kind of thing.
What was you mentioned a couple of stuff that you were inspired by. Where did it all start? Where did your music journey begin?
I guess my love of music probably started with hip hop. I was fortunate that I had an auntie who was living in America, and she, for birthdays and Christmases, she would send me cassette tapes of guys like EPMD, Run DMC, even more commercial things like Fat Boys and stuff like that. And then I was listening to all this stuff, and then slowly it would be filtering through. Maybe like you get a track on the radio and stuff, but I was getting all this hip hop firsthand, and then letting my mates hear it and stuff. And that really that was my first kind of, this is my music, and then as you're at an informative age where you're a teenager at school, secondary school, and you've got your own wee group of mates, and you're dressing and being influenced in the music and the fashion and the culture, and it's all tying in with, graffiti, breakdancing, BMX and skateboarding. It was just that, all that needing to belong, that youth culture. You can dissect it dead easy when you're older, but when you're young, you just want to be a part of something, because you feel like nobody really understands what you're all about or whatever. Like, every teenager probably does. So that was my introduction.
It seems to. Actually, when I announced that you were going to be on the show, I got a message from Al, my mate Al, who told me that you loved your hip hop, because I wasn't aware of that, and he says I should ask you about the Crash Slaughter stories.
Aye, Smiz, good mate. I mean, an Ayrshire boy as well. Again, he was part of, there was a crew of us who, back then, it was folk into hip hop, folk into dance music, and we used to go out clubbing to raves together and stuff like that. And then as we kind of slowly got older, Smiz branched off, and a couple of other boys went down like full on hip hop, and because dance music back then, I was sampling a lot of hip hop records like every other artist was doing, you know what I mean? So there was a real fusion. You were obviously all the Happy Mondays, Stone Roses, that indie dance stuff. It really was a mishmash. And I think that's what got everybody together, that magical time. And then it kind of splintered. So, I mean, Smiz, I still keep in touch with him to this day. He done it absolutely amazing on the hip hop front. We worked together in a couple of records. And then there's another guy I need to give a shout out to, Dell, who started a band in another Ayrshire band. And for me, they were like the first fucking Scottish hip hop group that I'd ever heard rapping in a Scottish accent, which was absolutely fucking amazing.
All time high.
You guessed it, aye, all time high. And they were fucking kids for my scheme. And it was mad as well, because at the time, I was touring as Ultrasonic and putting records out, and I was doing my vocals with my American accent solely because I grew up listening to hip hop, and then I was trying to recreate the samples that I was sampling live, and ended up with this kind of pseudo-American transatlantic accent. And then I seen the boys rapping, with a Scottish accent, and I had so much respect for that. And it also made me question, the reality of what I'm doing, and it wasn't real what I was doing, but, it's two sort of different kind of musics, I mean? I think hip-hop's very much real and right the moment you're in right now, whereas electronic dance music's escapism. And, there's certain genres, it's a wee bit more reflective and stuff, but I mean, big shouts out to all-time high, especially Dell, who's actually know very well at the moment.
Yeah.
And we're obviously all sending our love and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Much love to Dell. And all-time high. See, because obviously there wasn't the internet, because I'm an Ayrshire boy as well, loved hip-hop. And I think like a lot of people of my generation or older, we kind of thought we individually thought we'd invented hip-hop with a Scottish accent. And then you get the internet, because the internet was a thing, but we didn't have it. We were in the, and I think I used it at college once, and it was like, I looked up
Fucking dial-up.
song lyrics or something, you know what I mean? But
No, you were just cruising for porn on back in the day, man. It was no information highway. It was just pussy. That sounds really terrible, but it's true. You know what I mean? A big shout out as well to Two Tone Committee, which was Smizzy's, one of Smizzy's many projects. Again, Scottish hip hop at its finest.
All Two Tone Committee, absolute legends, and that was stuff that obviously I found out about much, later on, and I went back and learned all about the legends that came before and everything that's happened. And I mean, are you paying much attention to the hip hop scene in Scotland just now? Is there anybody that you're enjoying?
So I'm not really. No, to be honest, no, I'm not. I'm aware of guys like Loki and the young boy Shogun. Is it Shogun? Is it the guy from Paisley? Because my son's, he's 18 now, and he's let me hear a lot of stuff, but a lot of it, to be fair, is a lot of the grime stuff, which I'm not really into the beats. You know what I mean? It's too soulless, but I like some of the raps. Again, I've got to fling names at you because I'm not really clued up. Dave his album was probably the last hip hop album I listened to start to finish, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know what I mean? But I'm still stuck with what I grew up with. You know what I mean? I can't see past Public Enemy, Run DMC, maybe Jurassic 5, maybe Mos Def, and then it caps off for me, you know what I mean? And I'm just, I don't know. I've not been doing enough digging to really let you know where I'm at with hip hop.
Well, actually, I've got a vinyl from Crash Slaughter where he's done Sugar Cubes mixed with MF Doom.
Brilliant.
And I've not heard it yet. It's my prized possession, but it's the Mrs.'s decks and they're packed away just now, so I've not had a chance to, but I'm really looking forward to checking that out. Because everything he does is class, man. So
he's a fucking talent. I remember being in his bedroom, and he had his turntable set up, and this is us before we're going to go to a rave, and he was just showing us all his just new skills that he's picked up, and you're just sitting there going, holy fuck, that's better than a Hero record, and he's went off and done amazing stuff, and every now and again we'll bump into each other. I mean, I hadn't seen him for years, and then I went to see, I'm sure it was Ronnie Size, and Smiz was supporting Ronnie Size with, I'm trying to think, Monkey Mafia was another thing that he'd done. So when it was kind of that big beat kind of stuff and all that, amazing. Fucking Ayrshire, man, God's country, such an amazing pot of talent. I mean, everybody thinks that Glasgow and Manchester, the big cities, are where it's at, when it's no, man. It's the satellite towns that surround the city. You know what I mean? And all that talent that obviously is attracted to the city because maybe that's where the clubs are. But I've always believed that it's the satellite towns that make the city and the scene. There is talented people from obviously the big cities, Glasgow, blah blah blah, but it's no like the big cities, the fucking, I don't even know what the word, the centre, the ground zero. The city just kind of seems to hoover up all the talent, and I think in Scotland it's actually even like people from the East Coast are maybe more likely to move to Glasgow to further their career, because Edinburgh's a little bit more transient. No disrespect to Edinburgh, but for music scenes and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'd agree with that. And I think a lot of the time, it's always quite surprising to hear of a band or a DJ that comes quite successful and is Glasgow, but then you find out that he's actually for somebody else. It's just easy, I suppose, for the English media, for the English press, it's just easier to say Glasgow in it. Aye, that's it. I mean, I'm guilty of that myself, being in countless fucking interviews, and they're, oh, where are you from, mate? And you're like, Stevenson. Where? Ayrshire, West Coast. Where? Glasgow, mate. Aye, Glasgow, aye.
Tap end or the bottom end.
Aye, fucking tap in a Stevenson HF, you cunt. Where are you, Faye?
I've got Mark McInnes is saying Air Pavilion was the bollocks. See, but that's what we want to talk about, the Metro and stuff, because obviously growing up we just heard about the Metro, go to the unders and stuff, and we'd hear about it. But by the time I was kind of, you know, I moved to Glasgow when I was 16 as well, and when I went back to the Metro, I would go out for a couple of nights. But by that point, it had totally changed. It was more kind of like chart music that we were playing. But yeah, can you tell us a bit about the Metro? Because obviously that's one of the few places, like you've probably been at you'll know yourself, but it's like when people say, you know, Ayrshire, you're like, I just say like between the Magnum and the Metro, and sometimes they know of one if they're of a certain age, and the, you know, it was a very important part of the club culture.
Oh mate, like you wouldn't believe. I mean, first of all, Saltcoats, Scotland's Las Vegas. You know what I mean? And then
South Vegas.
Aye, South Vegas, man. Not only you get a cone and a stick of rock, you get a fucking night out. But I think I don't think Ayrshire knew what hit it, because well, I mean, there's not just the Metro, obviously what's happening on Air Pavilion and stuff like that, which your man said was brilliant, and it was great times. But you know, if you're growing up in Saltcoats, Stevenson, Kilwinning, Irvine, it's really just kind of commercial Charlotte Tracy clubs / pubs, and then all of a sudden you hear that the old cinema in Saltcoats is getting turned into this mega nightclub, and you're going, nah, doubt it, no chance, no chance, that's no coming here, man. And then it did. And to be fair, it did open as a commercial club. It didn't open straight off the bat like dance music. The team who they got in, who were bringing all the DJs and the live acts. I wish I knew all their names. Tony Cochran, Robert Stevenson. The guys behind it were booking the acts and DJs that were coming to play. And then obviously Joe Deacon, Dave Kalikas, who is another fantastic Scottish DJ who's sadly no longer with us. They DJs in there fucking brought dance music culture to Ayrshire, and you could, and me personally, for gone for being like the freak that was into dance music, you know, like going to illegal fucking raves and putting on stupid wee parties and stuff because you couldn't get it, to then being able to walk to this nightclub. You know, because I never had enough money to get a bus or a taxi. I'd keep all my money so I'd get in there, get a couple of drinks and all the rest of it, and have the best night of my life. And see bands that I had their records, you know, like Adamski, Two for Joy, even seen Two Tone come out of there, Smizzy's band, Silver Bullet, Hunters, absolutely Hunters, amazing PAs, Guru Josh, all these kind of mad things in the 90s. And I was... So had the Metro no been there, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now, because that was the thing that it made me, like, I grew up on hip hop, Public Enemy. I seen Adamski at the Metro and I went, that's what I want to do with my life. That is what I want to fucking do, you know. And I would be the dickhead stunning at the side, mate. How do I do that music? What's that keyboard called? Because it was the internet, you know what I mean? You had to annoy people, but I was that passionate. I gave my right arm to have the internet back then and have all this information on tap, because, you know, it wasn't readily available. You had to ask people who were in the know, and there wasn't a lot of people that I knew in Scotland. I think at the time the only bands that were doing it, there was the kind of original sort of Q-Tech setup hadn't long started, and then obviously there was TTF. So it was happening. I tell a lie, there was also Egg Bamiazi, another fucking amazing Scottish talent. So I didn't know these guys. They might as well been on Mars. So to annoy people and get all that. But the Metro, it brought all these people together, and then everybody who's gone nightclubbing, there's all the Charlotte Tracy crowd, and there was an element of they'd be playing Deacon Blue and fucking the Waterboys and all that shit, and they would be all the dancing, and then it'd start off with they'd do a wee couple of dance tracks that would maybe hit the charts, and then, you know, myself and again Smiz is in that group, and we would be bringing our records down, hip hop, dance music, acid house, getting it with the DJ, asking him to play it, and this dance 10 minutes stretched into a 30 minutes, stretched into an hour. And then you were actually arguing to try and get your records back off the DJ. you know, it wasn't just because of us that the dance explosion happened in the Metro, but, you know, that happened. There was probably people all over the place bugging them for dance music, and then they brought in like Dave Kalikas and Joe Deacon and made it a dance night, and then it became start to finish dance music, and it really was like Ayrshire Hacienda. You know, even when I think back, I was going there as a young raver, the atmosphere pushing through the big wooden doors, hearing the bass, and it was always your favourite tune as you kicked open the doors. You know, if you get in by the bouncers as well, that was always a risk. And then obviously you never get a doing for the SAT, the Salkits young team. And it was just amazing. And then obviously coming out the club, fucking high as a kite and try to avoid getting a doing off for the young team as well.
I just adds to it.
It does add to the buzz. It's mere stories to tell, innit?
If Kirsten Jack says Adamski was ace, Malcolm saying Eggy's the main man. In fact, the last time I heard if Eggy Bimyasi, he started a band, I think.
He went back to his punk roots. He started off in punk as a bass player in a punk group. I can't even remember the name. And he's went back doing that, but he's still doing dance music. I mean, Eggy Bamiazi, there's a guy, man. Like, if you've never heard his music or even know who he is, go to YouTube, check him out. He is the essence of dance music. You know what I mean? It's a drum machine and a bass line, and just a guy full of hundreds of mad ideas. And some of his sets, you know, we were lucky enough to gig with him on the circuit when we were doing like clubs in Scotland, like at Rave and the Bunker in East Calder. And some of the best nights I have had is like playing a gig and then off the back of that, going out on the dance floor and raving to his sets. You know, it was just fucking amazing, man. Such a good time.
Malcolm's saying that the band's called The Fakes. That's right enough.
The Fakes, that's right. That's what it is, Malcolm.
I was trying to get a slot at Kilburn. I was trying to get my booking onto the wee stage I do at Kilburn Garden Party. It didn't end up happening. But yeah, and then Kenny Mulligan, who's on the show tomorrow, says Eggy played a brand new live set a few months ago on my radio show. He's still one of the best.
He's the man. He is. James is the man.
Too Heavy saying big up Dell. Muhammad Dali says, "Oh, Mark, you back on the tabs?" I know. I quit all the time, but I'm smoking again. Aye. Yeah, why is Mark's mic coming through my left headphone? I'm really sorry about that. I'm not sure why. The problem is that I was recording today. I'm actually going to make a new rule of no recording on the day of a podcast because I just mess everything up.
You should have said something that was on my rider, that I'm such a diva, I need to be in stereo, and everybody else has to be in mono.
Just so you sound better. Eggy at the Bunker, man. I remember that night.
Aye.
And Lou saying, listen to Loki, you won't be disappointed.
Listen to who?
Loki. Which I think you've already heard.
I'm very aware of Loki's stuff. I think he's a very talented man lyrically. Obviously, he does a lot of reading, and he's addressing a lot of subjects that need to be said and put out there. You know what I mean? And again, you know, I'm no clued up on hip hop. You know, I'm drum machine daft, really. You know what I mean? Electronic music and all the genres within that. And I don't really have time to listen to too much music as much as I used to. You know, obviously, I'm doing my own stuff, and I've got a family and all that. So, I probably listen to more shite Spotify playlists and my daughter and my son than anything else if I'm in the motor. It drives me insane. Actually, if you looked at my Spotify list, you would think I'm absolutely a psycho, because it's for my daughters to, you know, I'm not much a tight ass. We share the same Spotify thing, and it's annoying sometimes. I want to listen to the Blue Nile or fucking Simple Minds, and they've got, I don't know what shite they're listening to, man. It drives me up the wall.
What do the Waynes make of Ultrasonic and all that stuff? Do they enjoy your music?
I think they know it's a thing, but they're slightly embarrassed about it all, you know, because like, whatever your parents do, you don't think that's cool. You know what I mean? Maybe when I'm dead, they'll kind of go, I'm sure that was quite cool what he was doing, you know, or, you know, it's mad because they'll have like friends who are maybe their parents are ravers, are aware of what I've done or what I do. And then that kind of embarrasses them. They go, all right, is that your dad? And we used to go to see him in the dancing, or we go to his 1994 nights or whatever. But again, just like any dad, I'm an embarrassing arsehole. So, you know, Who wants to hang about with their dad? Who thinks their dad's cool? I watch things on TV and there's Wayne's going like, my dad's my hero. And I go, when did that happen? When did your dad become your hero?
Well, the weird thing about the West is that young kids do still seem to love all the tunes from the old days. It's that, as you said, like hardcore will never die. It does seem like this is still the sound of the schemes. I did a wee community project a few years back, and it was supposed to be like hip hop, but they wanted to. They were just playing. They wanted to MC. They didn't want a hip hop MC. They wanted dance music MC. Uh-huh. So it still seems to be. It's still, tunes from the 90s still seem... And something about the energy, I think, for young Waynes. Like they're just getting mad with the Skittles and they love it.
I think what I don't like is musical snobbery, right? Everybody's got what they like and what they don't like, and that's fine. And that's... Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But when cunts go like that, oh, I'm not into that, that's fucking shite, that's pure scum music, or, they can just fuck off, because I think... and I hate it when I see it in DJs and other artists who are so fucking pretentious. Oh my God, you listen to trance? Oh my God, you listen to hard house? I'm all about techno, and it shows how fucking up their own arse they are, because I think, whatever kind of music young kids get into, it's a gateway. Especially if you listen to some of the horrible shit that the Waynes listen to, right? Pitched up nonsense, right? No. I don't have an opinion on it. I've just called it pinched up nonsense, but I'm not into it, right? But I would never bag it or bag them for listening to that shit, because it's an entry level kind of music, and it gets them into electronic dance music, the essence of what clubbing is, getting together, dancing, and then through that, like any genre, they'll start digging a wee bit deeper and finding out, oh, I quite like that stuff. I like a wee bit more moody stuff. I like techno. I like trance. I like drum and bass, and then all these fucking pretentious DJs who diss a style, the kids who they're playing to found them because they get into fucking, I don't know, Dan Styles or DJ Rankin or Ultrasonic or whatever it is. You know what I mean? You need something in any kind of genre that's entry level. Hip hop, it could be fucking, the Fat Boys that gets you into fucking Public Enemy. You know what I mean? There's got to be a gateway, and you can't be snobby about it.
Same loads of examples of guitar bands as well, really poppy guitar bands, but a kids are listening to it and going, I like the sound of a guitar, and then maybe they won't read an interview with who inspired that band. So 100%, man, 100%.
I mean, every type of music, you know what I mean? You listen to David Bowie's Low album, and you will hear Britpop, dance music, ambient house. That fucking album inspired fucking music as we know it, and that's no dance music. That's an artist or a couple of artists pushing music at the time as far as it would go. And for me, that inspired, like just what I said, Britpop dance music. You could listen to tracks on David Bowie's Low album and let some kid for the West End and Byers Road hear it, and they would actually think some guy down the road's fucking just made it some new cutting band. It's so fucking fresh and unbelievable to this day.
And Lynch, Defo bro, trance was the way in. Thumbs up for Papa Boy. John Hamilton saying, seen Ultrasonic many a time, amazing times. And it's John Hamilton from the top end, mate, moan the HF. Has Mal got a favourite US track from everything they put out?
I don't have a favourite because it'll change all the time. You know what I mean? I could say something like Obsession, because that was probably the first ever record I put out, and we got a singer in, and I remember recording it in a real studio and all that. So that holds a lot of memories, but it changes all the time. Myself and Roger Hughes, the two of us started Ultrasonic as young boys, and we were fortunate enough to just enjoy what we're doing, and we released 4 albums and a live album and tour videos, and never had commercial success because it wasn't what we were doing. But I think what that gave us was longevity, just slinking about the underground. So we've got quite a big back catalogue, so much so that I found an album in lockdown after I moved house that we hadn't released, I put that out with a Kickstarter, and I couldn't believe the response. So fucking too many tracks to decide. So I don't know. It's hard enough doing an hour set when I do these 1994 gigs because everybody's got favourites, but I can't squeeze them all in.
Too Heavy says, we passed an Ultrasonic tape around in first year at school. Our intro to hardcore. Tunes are still amazing today. Much respect. And
Cheers, man.
And Ross says, as soon as an annihilating rhythm kicks in, the goosebumps kick in. I totally 100% agree with that as well, man. I think that's maybe my favourite one I know.
I remember being mad with a fucking gig somewhere and some guy was like, here mate, see that annihilating rhythm, right? It's the fucking Bohemian Rhapsody of dance music. I was like, all right, I'll take that. Cheers, mate.
Going back to the Hardcore Will Never Die. Did you see Mogwai made an album called Hardcore Will Never Die, but you will?
They used to record in the same studio that we did, Mogwai and Apollo Recordings. But no, it was the influence by Mogwai. Anything like that. Fucking brilliant sonic guitar band, right enough. I think one of their albums is called Young Team, is it no?
Aye, they had Mogwai Young Team. It was an album, but yeah, no, it was. I think it was more a recent thing. Hardcore Will Never Die.
Ah, okay, right.
Well, so I thought it was maybe a wee nod to yourself.
No, I called it that because that was the lead track on the album called Hardcore Will Never Die, and we recorded that album between 1994 and 1997. And it was meant to come out after a second studio album, which is called Global Techno. So that was going to be a third album, but we were getting ripped off with a record label when we left, and we set up our own label. And in between that period of setting up our own label, we wrote another bunch of tunes that became our new album, which was called The Hour of Chaos. And you always go with your latest tunes. Any band will fucking tell you your latest thing that you've done is the best thing you've ever done. Then you put it out. And we forgot all about Hardcore Will Never Die. And then I moved house. And because of lockdown, I had fucking hundreds of time. My missus was like, you better chuck all that shit out or I'm putting it in the bin. Or tidy it up, do something. And then I went through it and I found all tour diaries, flyers, and then obviously all dark recordings, all these recording sessions that we'd done. And you know, finning one track led to another. And then I was like, fucking hell, that's that full album. And put it out in a Kickstarter. And the feedback and help for everybody that backed it was fucking humbling, phenomenal. You know, so many people interested in bizarrely hearing new old school music for Ultrasonic. Mental.
Oh well, everybody would be excited at that. It must have been also doubly humbling because it's the middle of lockdown, and I suppose it's an artist, just everyone's got a bit of a personality crisis, or just like, what am I doing? Because obviously so much of what you do as an artist is out performing or working in music. Did you find it was a good time to work on new stuff or work in your set, or
at the start, I'll be honest, I was pretty depressed for probably about the first 3-4 weeks. It took me a while to get out of my bed. You know, I was actually fucking quite worried about where I was mentally. And, you know, all through my sort of career, my wife's been kind of my strength. And she's helped kind of just give me the confidence I needed to continue. And I kind of slowly went, all right, this is it, whatever this is, which is nothing. You know, I never had, like everybody in the, you know, the nighttime industry, well, probably a lot of people affected by it. I never had any income streams, and I wasn't actually looking for something to sell. You know, it was just I found that and putting the album together. It gave me a focus and something to work towards. You know, mastering, doing artwork, digging out all the old pictures, studio sleeve notes, and blah blah. And then obviously when you've actually sold it and you get the money, it gives you a well-needed income, you know, to keep the ship afloat. Because all money really does when you're a musician, I hate using the word musician, but you know what I mean? If you're a creative, all money really does is buy you the time. You know, doesn't do anything else. It just buys you time to do what you enjoy, you know, and selling it's for me anyway, it's the byproducts. It's never really, I don't do things to specifically sell things, but in doing so, it helps me continue doing what I'm doing, you know.
John Hamilton is asking, remember the nights at Source? The lineups were banging.
Aye, sources at the Barras, they were great. I actually done 2 or 3 years ago, I done a source reunion at the Barrowlands. And I put together the lineup for original source albums and talked a few bands into playing that had kind of retired. But mate, there's fucking so many. I mean, Scotland, for such a small country, we fucking rule, man. We've got a healthy rave scene, trance producers, techno producers, so many amazing rock bands, experimental bands, so many amazing artists, authors. Fucking, it's such a creative country, you know what I mean? And then going to chefs and all, we're just fucking brilliant, you know what I mean?
And
And
the
I mean, we
Barras
as
as well.
Scotland.
We've got I was talking to Rowetta for Happy Mondays, which is the podcast I just did. And
Yep.
she brought it up, and it's a thing that many artists say is just that the best gig they've ever played, or what's the best one.
Barras.
And it was the Barras back in,
Aye.
I think it was maybe 94, I think. Funny enough, I think it was 1994 that she mentioned that they played the Barras, and there's never been another gig quite like it. Have you got a favourite gig that stands out?
Definitely Barras is up there, you know what I mean? Just been able, I remember the first time we played the Barras, Roger and I were mere fucking blown away that Simple Minds had played the Barras, you know, and fucking guys like Bowie, no Jaws Bowie, David Bowie, and just going, fucking hell, we're on the Barras, man. And then, so obviously been at millions of gigs, but then when you're kind of doing the gig, it's a different experience for being at the gig. But I mean, fucking Barras, Metro was always good because there was just hundreds of people I grew up with around about me. Hangar and Air was brilliant. And loads of gigs abroad, you know, I was fortunate enough to fucking play all over the world, you know what I mean? So, I don't, again, it's like, pick your fucking favourite way, and it's just a hard thing to do. You can't pick your favourite record or your favourite gig, you know what?
Can you pick a favourite country? Best country you went to visit and perform at?
Aye, Scotland, without a doubt, man. I mean, it's bizarre, man. It's North England's good, Liverpool, Manchester, and stuff like that. Further down south you get, the harder the crowds are to. They want you to pull rabbits out your ass before they're entertained. Obviously, Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, Australia. All over Australia's brilliant, but Scotland's always the gig, always the bar that you need to. Everything else is compared to, you know what I mean? And if I'm being honest, the classic Grand really gives me a feeling of the Metro and the energy that is created in that club, specifically with 1994 crowd, who everybody knows why they're there and what the tunes mean to them. That's a hard gig to top, you know what I mean? But then, I don't know, I've done gigs in King Tut's and that's different things. I performed my full album with a live band, and that was a special gig, as in just for me selfishly as a fucking artiste, you know what I mean? Just in doing a gig in a rock venue and just going, fucking get that in your pipe, you cunts.
Get it round, geez.
Exactly. You know,
Ali
a lot
Grant,
of people.
she's late, but made it. Hi gang, what have I missed? Well, we're just
No
telling
much.
it to get it round them. We're just telling them, everyone to get it round them.
Aye.
Custine's asking, remember seeing it at the garage before it was called the garage? Can't mind what it was called.
Mayfair.
She's more about that. Mayfair.
Aye. The Mayfair.
What was it like back then?
The sound system was absolutely shite, but the fucking crowd was amazing. Again, Scottish crowds, man. Ayrshire, Glasgow, up north. You go to fucking Shetland. You go to Orkney. Just something about Scotland. We just know how to. We know what fucking shit is. We know what hard times really are, and we know that when you get a chance, enjoy it to the fucking hilt, because you're going back to bullshit and you're going back to fucking reality. So we know that magical time, which is fucking known as the weekend, is your time to fucking party, to let loose, to let go, to forget, to remember to forget, and just enjoy it, man. Where I think a lot of other countries, I don't know, they've maybe not realised that yet, you know. All you've got is the now, man. So fucking make the most of it.
No, it's bang on. It's like this is the first weekend that actually felt like a weekend in so long for me. And I'm looking, and then we got I've got two festivals in a row.
Brilliant.
And it just feels like, yes, finally.
Aye, let us at it.
I can't get out this room. I feel I've been in this room for 18 months, man. It's been doing my nothing. So, I'm absolutely buzzing. So, I want to give a wee, before we go, man, I want to talk about, you're on the telly the night. So, it's we've got Graham Armstrong, who's been on the show as well. He wrote The Young Team. Fantastic book if people haven't checked that out yet. It's actually really well done. It's quite hard to listen to if you're fair scheme yourself at times because you're like, fuck, I remember that. But Scotland Rave, do you know much about it? Did you just get interviewed or have you seen it yet? Or what's it going to be like?
Well, first of all, Graham's book is fucking brilliant. I've not actually had that kind of connection to a book since I remember. But I reading Trainspotting for the first time. I actually seen it as a play because bizarrely I fucking met Irvin Welsh. He used to come along to the gigs in Carlton Studios in Edinburgh, and we seen the play. It was in the Trongate, and I also got the book, and it was amazing. And I just remember having that connection with Trainspotting. And when I read Graham's book, I had the exact kind of eerie feeling that it was jumping off this page. It was like something that you can totally relate to. You know what I mean? It wasn't like an American or an English protagonist. It was an Ed or an arsehole that you knew. So brilliant book. So I know he's exploring dance music culture and doing a bit of digging, and got in touch with us to see if I wanted to talk about it. Bizarrely, he mentioned this in his book, and which I was really humbled by. He used to come to the gigs when I was supporting Tiesto and Fantasylands and Fantasia and stuff like that, and that was his entry level into dance music culture. And I think he just wanted to do a wee bit of digging and see where it came from and who was responsible. So he spoke to quite a few Scottish guys, guys like Scott Brown and a lot of the PC DJs, which, again, I was too busy doing my thing to realise that was a thing where they were making tapes and bootlegs and, smashing it about the schools and making their own wee scene. Again, entry-level music for kids just cutting their teeth and getting into it. So I don't know what it's about other than what I've said, and I'll look forward to, maybe I'll try and watch it tonight or fucking tape it and see what it's like tomorrow.
It's on the night, 10 o'clock, BBC Scotland. And I think when he was on the show, I might be wrong, but I think what he's got, I think his next book that he's working on is about the club scene, and I don't know if it's connected to the Young Team or anything. I think it's about just, that what club culture means to people. Yeah. So, man, I'm looking forward to reading that book and looking forward to watching the documentary tonight. And let's give another wee plug for... So Saturday's 1994. There's no many tickets, so if anyone wants to go and experience 1994, how long have they got to buy a ticket? They basically need to buy a ticket today. I think it's going to sell out before the end of the week. I think Skiddle's only got about 20 odd tickets left, and Ticket Scotland's maybe get, 30 odd or something like that. All the 1994s sell out. I don't ram it. I keep it at the correct numbers. Too many greedy promoters will fucking sardine people in and all that, which isn't a good experience for the raver. So I like to keep it at the regular numbers, and so everybody gets a better time. You know what I mean? So try and get a ticket, come along, man. And I think if there's anybody listening to the show and going, I used to do the Raven and all that, it's fucking great. Get off your ass and come along and get back into it. You know what I mean? It's these kind of nights are giving everybody a second chance, and also the younger team a wee window into what the magic was like back then. You know what I mean? You'll understand what these songs meant to a lot of people and see the reaction firsthand. And you'll see fucking maddies like me and other guys fucking jumping about playing it. So it's a good night, man. It really is, and it's going to be emotional, man. It really is. I'm a blubbering wreck sometimes at gigs, and I know this one is going to be hard to fucking contain my emotions. And then there's Open to Close, which is Saturday the 18th of September. Aye, that's right, Mark. It is, and that's me just playing 5 hours at all my
favourite productions, remixes, and genres that I played. And also, if I can plug as well, while I'm plugging things, I did a thing
Aye.
called a
What do you want?
1994 Family Fun Day, which is basically a rave for all ages. Obviously, the music's not as loud, but it's the same club environment, same kind of lights, and just parents can bring their kids, you know, like right from really young to like that kind of awkward teenage years, and it's affected me bizarrely because I'd done it to basically get my kids a wee fucking to see what I did, you know what I mean, and then bizarrely I've seen other families doing it, and mums and dads dancing with their kids, and carers dancing with you know their fucking children, and it fucking on a different level, man. It's just, you know, dance music culture gets a lot of flack for drug abuse and stuff like that, but it's much more than that, you know what I mean. It's about togetherness. It's about sharing a moment with somebody, you know. It just transcends. It's, you know, the drugs aren't the be all and end all about it. You know what I mean? It's that feeling of togetherness and to see that with families, you know, it's fucking beautiful. I know, man. So that's on the September the 11th at the Classic Grand. That's a fucking great day. I know, man. I'm sounding like I'm just here plugging things, but
That's all right. That's what it's all about, mate. Another thing I'd like to hear you tell a bit more just before we go as well is the XL podcast.
again, that's a
10
podcast.
years? Is that 10 years? Is that right?
I think it's over 10 years now. Obviously, they started off doing, you know, I was doing DJ mixes and getting guest DJs on and talking about my favourite records. But then, I quite, maybe 5 years ago or something, I just get bored of the fucking DJ mix format because what is that? You know, I mean, I'd like to hear a wee bit more about the artists. So I started introducing chats on the podcast and hunting down guys that inspired me, you know, from Frank the Wolf to fucking Joe Deacon to Trevor Riley, and, you know, DJs from all over the world who I've toured with as well, and just recording a conversation about their journey through music. And that's something I really enjoy as well. You know what I mean? I think as you get older, you appreciate what other people have done. And I think as well, we don't tell people who inspired us or influenced us, we don't tell them when they're alive how much they mean to us, how important they have been to us. It's not until somebody dies they'll go, oh, he was fucking great, wasn't he? Oh, they were amazing. Well, fucking tell them they knew. You know what I mean? Don't wait. Tell them they knew how much, you know, a family member, how much you fucking love them, or a DJ, how much you like their records, or what. You know, don't fuck about. Just tell them they knew, man.
100%, man. I listened to recently the public domain one, and that was brilliant. Just listening to the story all of that, because obviously I was quite a young man, maybe about that time. I think maybe 15, 16 when that tune came out, and that was massive for us.
It was good. That was good time.
Hearing all the wee stories about how it all comes together and stuff, because I think that something that Scotland, we have got an amazing underground scene, but the media doesn't really pick up on it unless it's popular, like in a mainstream level.
Mm-hmm.
So there does seem to be a missing link. That's why it's been good to see over lockdown a few new podcasts appearing, so that you can hear these wee stories behind it.
I mean, it's just great to see. I mean, even like yourself working away. I know how much work goes behind putting these things together. You know what I mean? And you're doing these podcasts. Obviously, you got a passion to do it, but what, I don't know if you're aware of it or whatever, but the people it's actually touching, you know, like people who are actually enjoying it, tuning into it, and it's giving them that wee bit of escapism, a bit of information, a bit finding new artists, or, you know, whoever guests you have on. It's brilliant, man. You know what I mean? And maybe lockdowns let people flex a wee bit and give them the time to pursue these careers, you know what I mean, and these hobbies, and make things. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I hope it continues. Not just with you, but with everybody. I hope it continues long after lockdown, till lockdown's like just something we talked about that happened. but you're still doing what you're passionate about. You know what I mean?
If it wasn't for that, I mean, obviously, I was too busy doing events. It just wasn't. There just wasn't time to do it. But I'm definitely going to keep it going forward.
Aye.
And it's been great, and it's actually quite good now because now it's a wee bit more like if someone's got a gig coming up, I'm like, well, come on up and promote it and stuff, because it was getting to that point where it's like, you know, nobody's getting any new chat. It's like, what have you been up to? I've done fuck all for a year and a half. We've got comments coming in, so many interesting stories we'd never have heard about from back in the day without the pods. It says The Wanderer. Anne Lynch says, top guy indeed. Aye, the rave scene was just something else. It changed everything under the Thatcher regime. Changed my life. I'm a granny now. Those tunes just never leave you. I've got my grandmaids into Underworld, 2F and right. Back to basics for the skimmies before they really slaughter US. Brilliant interviewee, Mark. And yeah, Ali was talking about the young team, superb. Check it out. That's Graham Armstrong's book, and you can see his documentary tonight on the BBC. But thank you very much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. You know, I've been listening to your tunes all growing up, and it's so good to hear them. And hopefully, I'm not going to make this Saturday, but I think the 18th I can make, man. So I'll hopefully see you in the 18th September.
Aye, man.
For the open to close set, man.
No bother. I mean, thanks for asking me, Owen. I don't actually do a lot of these interview things because I can't be fucked with them and DJ mixes and all that self-promoting thing. Because then when I do it, I feel bad about promoting things. But thanks for inviting me on and listening to my shite.
You shouldn't feel bad for promoting it, man. You got a gig coming up and everyone needs to know about it. Thank you so much, mate. It's been an absolute honour. Tomorrow night we've got Kenny Mulligan live from Reading Festival. What is he going to be up to? I have no idea, but he'll be live at the Reading Festival build. And if anyone's interested, if anyone's into just a normal audio podcast, not a video podcast, then we've got Rowetta for the Happy Mondays, absolute legend.
Is she still hot looking, man? She's not aged a bit looking, isn't she? No, man. She's like 24. What is that? 24-hour party people. She still played herself, didn't she? Because she was. Look at her, she's foxy as, man. What a beautiful woman.
And so sound.
Aye.
And just had some brilliant stories. That probably the best bits was the bit that to check out is the bit of advice for people who want to be a singer. That's funny. And also, I don't know if you heard about it, her and Bez get chucked off Bargain Hunt for cheating. So
I think I actually seen that. I seen that. I mean, there's a thing and all. I mean, I think Happy Mondays is probably one of the last rock and roll bands. I hate all these fucking bands that mix up a come down with depression and greet about fucking how the hard times that they've been through when they should just fucking soldier on and get on with it, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think a lot of bands think they're rock and roll, but they don't actually know what they are, or they can't go the distance. You know what I mean? I'm old school where I like my artists to fucking suffer, man. I like them to live life on the edge and, you know, really push themselves creatively. And I don't think a lot of bands actually are really doing that if they're honest with themselves. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe that just came into my head when I thought Happy Mondays and, you know, the excess the madness that they were doing. You know what I mean? And then you get a lot of wannabes.
Probably still. I think calm down a wee bit. You need to calm down a bit.
You do need to calm down or you die. That's when you know you have to make that decision. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everybody should kill themselves, but you know, I think a lot of bands, rock bands and dance bands, and that their PR team tell everybody how rock and roll they are when, you know what I mean, they're in their bed after the gig and all that. They're no living it. Fucking
and they're also proper 5-star hotels and nice. It's not the same as sleeping.
They say they're camping at Glastonbury and they're fucked off into a bit of glamping or something like that.
It happens. It definitely happens. Amazing stuff. I've got a couple of comments in. Excellent show, says Kirsten. Greg says, cheers, folks. Ross was talking about your family classic grand show. I had my bairns along and they loved it. Great day.
Brilliant.
And, if you can get a babysitter, go to the Classic Grand this Saturday. If you want to know what can you get a babysitter, then
bring the Waynes.
Bring the Waynes in the 11th. Try not to get the days mixed up though, because don't bring the
Waynes to the real rave, man. That could be awkward. You know what you do? I mean, just lock the Waynes in a cupboard, right? Go to the Classic Grand on this Saturday of the time of your life. Let them out possibly 15 hours later. I don't know how long you're out for. Make it up to them and then take the wins on the 11th. You know what I mean? Hey, can I just shout one more thing? I've got a raffle now that's on, right? Now, these things are great. It's basically you can win all Ultrasonic merchandise, hats, tour jackets, T-shirts, all the records, all the DVDs, and also 2 VIP tickets to 1994 this Saturday. I'll post the link on the YouTube comments if that's all right.
Well, do you know what? I'll do it the now, man, because sometimes when the show ends, there's not enough time. It disappears. So what is the link, man? Can you send it to me just now and I'll just put it up on the screen? Because I tell you what, if you want to punt a raffle, you've came to the right place, man.
I've put it right there. I've posted it there. I'm high tech. I'm in the future. Mallorca Lee is posted on that thing. And Ali's just went, we love a raffle. Well, Ali, you've came to the right show, my man, because this raffle's for you. For only a couple of £, you can maybe win yourself 2 VIP tickets. That's right, 2. And all the Ultrasonic merchandise and records. Come on, guys.
Well, that's how, mate. That's how we can. 90% of my income was events, and then they were gone. So we've been doing one of the things to encourage people to become a patron of the show, which is like £3 a month if anyone fancies it. By the way, it's like is the raffle. Do you know what I mean? It's like we do a raffle as much as we can to get some prizes out there, and I think everybody loves a raffle, man. It's exciting. It's sometimes controversial. Do you know what I mean? When the wrong name gets pulled out or the same name gets pulled out twice. Twice,
aye. But that just means you bought the tickets. And I have to say, anybody listening to your show, Mark, I like I said earlier, I know how much work, I can imagine, just because, you know, I do podcasts and that myself, and I know how important being a Patreon is. So if you're enjoying what Mark's doing, you know, what's fucking £3? That's like buying him a pint. So sign up to his Patreon.
Lucky to get a pint.
Exactly. Some wanky bars you can't even get a fucking pint.
Can't get a pint.
He's only asking for £3. That's not even going to get him a pint of tenants. That's maybe a coffee. So it's like buying him a coffee, and you're in return no doing fuck all. You're actually entertaining and putting these shows together. I mean, I checked out some of your guests now you've got and had. It's fucking brilliant, and there's a lot of work trying to get the guests in. Was it last one you had the fucking Big Mary in?
Mary Kiani's been on the show.
What a legend she is, I know. So what a beautiful woman she is as well, an amazing vocalist. She's living in Australia or something. But no, you've had Hannah's amazing artist. So stop fucking scrimping and support the underground and be a patron for Mark's podcast, because, you know, if it's fucking entertaining you, well, help it continue to entertain you, really, innit? It's not as if you're fucking charging Sky fees or anything, you know what I mean? £65 a month for fucking BT Sports or whatever it is. It's fucking £3 to help a show keep going, supporting fucking support the arts.
I put the Mary Kiani show in the comments if anyone's wanting to check it out. It's definitely worth watching it. I think everyone will enjoy it. I used
to fancy Mary back in the day, like you wouldn't believe. I was actually like, you know, like she was like fucking just this goddess up on the stage singing for, you know, John's band, the TTF. And I always remember, I couldn't pronounce Keanu. Is it Mary Kiani? Mary Kiani, right? So I can't even remember where we were. And this, I don't know, Mary's name get obviously mentioned, and everybody's like, she's obviously. Well, you can imagine what folk are saying, but the thing was that everybody fancied her and she's so hot and everything. And this guy was like, here, mate. See that Americano? She's fucking dynamite, my man. Americano.
Says like Americano. Says like Americano.
Well, my name's bad enough. Mallorca. I used to get called malaria and fucking shit like that. So I liked the Americano because it took the pressure off me getting called fucking my what? My who? Fucking brilliant.
I just want to check one more time the raffle link for your raffle.
I'm going to just post it.
Well, post it. Well,
enter.
What is it? Right, post it now.
Enter. Yeah, it goes. Ready.
Let's just make sure it works, because sometimes it can be funny.
It's on the top chat.
It's on the top chat. Are you
it's just right underneath your YouTube. You call that radio YouTube post for, I think, for Mary's interview.
All right, okay.
Big Mark says he loves a raffle. Well, get into it, Mark, and you could be the winner.
Do you
It's
know,
big
Mark,
Tom
do you know what?
Bowler.
Mark loves a raffle. He never wins a raffle, and he deliberately always has good sportsmanship. And
Beautiful.
He congratulates everyone else who wins the raffle. I think he's trying to get some karma points so that he eventually does win.
He's putting love out into the universe and hoping that comes back in the shape of a raffle win in your show or mine. I like his style, man. Positive thinking. You know what I mean? Don't be jealous. Encourage everybody, and that love's coming right back at you tenfold. You could even win my raffle, man. It's a fucking
I think
belter.
so. I think he's due. It is definitely due a win. I've got it here. So it's the raffle win is. I still don't see your raffle link though. I don't want to go until I see your raffle link. Still
Right.
don't see it.
So
I've got it.
Right.
Do you know what? I've got it. Do you know what I think it is? I think YouTube's maybe censoring you because it thinks you're spamming the
All
the YouTube. And
Here, YouTube, I'm not a bot. I'm just trying to sell a raffle, punch some tickets, my man.
That should be it now. So
brilliant. There you go. Thanks for that,
that's
man.
it, guys. So
It's ending the morning, or something like that.
So it's a tenner a ticket. You get all the good stuff. It's all the merch, and all the VIP tickets. So
All your sports socks, 2 for £1.
for a pound. Superb prize, says Fractured Technique. Malcolm's laughing. And aye. So go and get the raffle. I know that you call that radio people love a raffle. Well, there you go. There's raffle.com / all that. Just click that.
Raffled out your nut.
Get raffled. Get away and raffle your ears. It's my voice that way and raffle your ears.
What's that mean?
I don't have a clue. I think it's just trying not to swear in it. It's things that sort of people say that don't actually
Raffle
make
your
any sense.
ears?
I think they say go away, fuck it, go and fuck yourself. I think basically the thing to say about it is away, raffle your ears is like a nicer way of saying that. Something like that, anyway.
Aye.
Any chance of a live set on You Call That Radio at some point? Well, you just said you don't like doing live sets online.
No, I
right?
can't be fucked with all that. I just see DJ mixing and even the live streams I did over the lockdown. I was doing them, but it's so hard. I don't enjoy them. I don't get any contact. I don't see people enjoying it, and I just don't feel comfortable. And I like doing it live, as in front of a crowd. You know, if you needed like a mix with me, Mark, or something like that, I'd send you one that I've already done. But I can't be fucked. Just fucking plinkety plonkety doing a DJ mix and recording.
The trick to being a good. I seen someone saying that the other day. The trick to being a good DJ is playing the surprising song at the right time or something along those lines. So without feeding off the crowd, you don't really know. You know, I've seen loads of great DJ sets during lockdown that I've really enjoyed, but obviously it's that we hear that pop of other people getting excited by a tune. You know that's
Yep.
you know that's what I seen on Friday night with Joe Jive. She was just playing some old classics. And it was just like, you know, when a tune came on and people recognised it and people, you know, that noise of excitement, like, woo!
And then you go, I'm fucking digging this. Wait till you hear this. And you get that interaction. I mean, there you go. Bizarrely, what you were saying, I was talking to another brilliant Scottish DJ, a guy called John Mancini, the day, who is a door-faced cunt and a dear friend of mine. We were talking about music as fucking we always do. And he said something that's absolutely brilliant. He said, a good DJ plays the tracks that you didn't know you wanted to hear. You know, a DJ will play the tracks you want to hear, and a good one will play the tracks you didn't know you wanted to hear. And that's such a good way of saying it, you know what I mean? And it's like what you were saying, you know, like when you get that live interaction, you play a track and you go, I didn't really go doing too well or whatever. Then you play something else and you see they're responding to that and you go, right, wait, if they like that, wait till they get this fucking bad boy in them. And live streams, again, I'm too long in the tooth and all. I sat here with you and fucking selt my wares. I know that's fucking soulless, but I really can't be fucked with the DJing thing and interviews and fucking. I'll come off and I'll feel bad about selling myself on this.
Shouldn't feel bad about that.
It's just always something I've never. I do it, but it's always something that doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? Fucking. You know, I don't feel like I'm trying to trick people into buying my tickets and coming to my shows, buy my records. But sometimes I do feel like that. You know what I mean? I feel like a fucking fraud asking people to buy it. But if you don't ask, nobody buys it, does it? I don't know.
That's it, man. You need to promote your gigs. And how many people are going to see that link and just go, you know, you might have posted it once and they hadn't been paid yet or something, and then you post it again. You go, oh, that's right, I was going to go to that, and then they go out and have the time of their life. and they'll thank you for it, man. So that's not the right way to see it at all, man.
I know. I don't know. I think
What do you
maybe
think?
it's that maybe that Scottish guilt. You know, we can't sell ourselves. Anybody else doing fucking London and stuff like that, we've been up to me. Oh yeah, working on my third album. Yeah. You say to somebody from Scotland, you up to me? Oh, nothing much. They could be fucking writing
The next fucking Bohemian Rhapsody.
Same old.
I know. What you been up to? Ah, but this and that. They could be fucking doing the best things you've ever fucking heard or seen in your life, but they'll no sell themselves. It's just that Scottish
I
guilt.
don't get. I wouldn't tell everyone what I'm up to, like artistically, but I'm quite bad for no giving people a quick answer.
Aye.
I actually sometimes like tell people, they ask me what I've been up to, and I'm like, well, last week I was just, and I realise I catch myself in the middle and go, they just want you to say same old, and move on, mate. But I tell you what, I think maybe for me, what made it a bit easier is because I've been promoting other bands and other events that maybe I wasn't playing at, and I'm booking people that I really like. So actually, I've got over that whole spam, try to sell the event thing, because it's like, this is going to be good. I'm actually, I know it's going to be good because I've booked bands or DJs that I really like, so you're going to have a great time. So I don't feel bad about that. But I know exactly what you mean when it's your own band or your own album. I brought an album out last month and I've just not really promoted it because it's hard to say that your own album's good. It doesn't work like that, especially not in Scotland.
Have you? What is this? What kind of style is it you're doing? What?
So I do. I'm in two bands, two projects. I've got Jackal Trades, which is hip hop kind of stuff,
brilliant,
and Gyro Babies, which is kind of guitar music.
Right.
I don't know how you describe that. Maybe someone can comment. The Evening Times called us baffling Ned punk once, but I think they missed the point. But we were Neds. We looked like Neds, so they called us Neds. But I don't know if that's a fair thing to call us.
Is there a link anywhere I can hear some of the stuff, or even if some of the folk that are listening, can they hear it?
We're all over the internet. Like,
the internet, I've no fucking heard it yet.
A virus, never heard the Gyro Babies. Fuck, well, that shows you.
I love the name.
I'm obviously not spamming well enough. It's
that's it, mate.
Born in Ayrshire as well as the Gyro Babies, man. So,
beautiful.
Yeah,
God's country.
And check it out. Greg says, we're all friends here. Didn't feel bad. Absolutely 100%. Don't feel bad about that. Street Rave, yes, says Mark McInnes. Also, Mark said, best of luck to everyone there. He's going for the Raffle car, man.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. We're all winners.
And Kirstine says, raffle your donuts. Brilliant, Kirstine. I think on that bombshell we can end with raffle your donuts. Go and get your raffle tickets so that Mal's not feeling bad about this, because you shouldn't feel bad. You're inviting people to a good thing. Gyro Baby's delightful, says Darren Hughes. Check it out. I hope you like it. And thank you very much, mate. Good luck on Saturday, mate. I'm buzzing that you're getting back into the club to play the tunes that the people want. So I hope you enjoy it, mate, and I hope you have a nice wee greet in a good way.
Thanks very much. And I might have one of your hangovers where I've just been hungover by talking to people, not to do with the drink or that. Just the amount of talking I've been doing.
No, the food poisoning must have been it must have been the kebab or the chips and cheese that I ate on Friday.
Aye.
Certainly wasn't
nothing to do with alcohol.
Nothing to do with that, man. Don't blame it on that. Thank you very much, mate. All the best. Go and get your Classic Grand tickets. Go and check it. Go and get a raffle ticket. Go and watch Scotland Rave tonight. Sign up to the patreon.com/YouCallThatRadio. Remember to check out the new Jackal Trades album at this point. I think it's my best work yet. And the Gyro Babies, which is a wee bit older. But more people prefer Gyro Babies. It's Jackal Trades is a niche within another niche. So thank you very much, mate. All the best. Good night. Oh, and check out Roberta for the Happy Mondays podcast as well.
Lots on, man. But all the best.
It's good. Things are back. Nature is healing. Thank you very much, mate. All the best. I'll see you on the 18th of September, hopefully. Bye.
Yeah. No respecting it. I respect to the man like Mark. The love of the man I talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio. Call that the radio. You call that radio. Call that the radio. Come and say, eeny, my name, oh, just go with the flow. Eeny, my name, oh, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. another man, I'll go lose your head. Say don't you be another, me say and lose the head. Me say radio, radio, call that a radio, radio. Straight from out of Glasgow, Glasgow. Straight from out of Glasgow, Glasgow. Nice enough for the studio, studio. Come and say, ini, mini, my name, oh, just go with the flow. Ini, mini, my name, oh, just go with the flow. So till you Mr. Mark, now go bend down low. Till you Mr. Mark, now go bend down low. No radio, radio, you call that the radio, radio. Them man I give you miss a lot of subject, and them I think a man you can't object. So don't you ever come and disrespect. I love and respect in a every aspect.